Welcome to this mini episode of The Road to October. Between our regular season and World Series deep dives, we're taking a short detour to explore the sometimes overlooked corners of baseball history, the ballparks long gone, players and managers who left their mark, and even the teams that never quite made it to October. I'm your host, Ryan Lorenz. Today, we're going to cover a short biography of the player and manager, Jimmy Collins. Born January 16th, 1870, in Niagara Falls, New York, James Joseph Collins, better known as Jimmy Collins. His parents were Anthony and Alice Collins, and Jimmy was the second of 4 children. The family had moved to Buffalo just 2 years after James's birth. His father worked as a police officer in the city, and Jimmy went to local schools in the Buffalo area and acquired an education in business during that time. He would go on to work for the local railroad company after finishing his schooling. During his teens, Jimmy played baseball with local social clubs in the area. He usually played in the outfield during these games. However, during the 1891 season, Collins played third base for the North Buffalo team. In May of 1893, Jack Chapman, the manager of the local minor league team, offered Collins an opportunity to play third base for the team. Collins was left with the dilemma of leaving the security of the railroad to follow a more lucrative career in baseball. He had made his choice. Starting at third base for the Buffalo Bisons in 1893 was Jimmy Collins, though that did not last long, as he was moved to shortstop during the season. Collins at this time was not the defensive stalwart that he would later be known as, and as such, he was moved to the outfield the very next season. After the completion of the 1894 season, the National League Boston team acquired Jimmy Collins for $500 while they were dealing with a contract holdout of another player at the time. Collins would play just 11 games before being placed on loan to Louisville for another $500. Collins would play 18 games in the outfield before being moved to third base. After this move, Collins had a defensive renaissance at third base. It was widely claimed that it was near impossible to bunt on him, but this was more due to him playing on the grass versus others who would play further back at the position. Seeing that Collins was a changed man, Boston requested his services back for the 1896 season. Boston had traded away their starting third baseman to Philadelphia. This change led to some contract negotiations between Collins and the owner of the team, which would ultimately sour their relationship. However, Collins continued to play for the National League Boston team through the end of the 1900 season. During this time, Collins would hone his defensive skills and became known to be a batter who would hit line drives and always be able to drive in runs. Given the issues that Collins faced with the National League Boston team, Collins decided to take a chance and take his future into his own hands and make a leap over to the newly founded American League. Collins was able to stay in Boston and play for the Boston Americans. With this move, Collins also became the manager of the team and captain as well. In his first season as player manager, the Boston Americans would finish in second place and would finish in third the following year. During the 1903 season, Collins led his team to a first-place finish in the American League and the first World Series between the American and National League. The 1904 season would see the Boston Americans with another first-place finish in the American League. Collins would never again be able to reach the pinnacle of the 1903 season. During the 1906 season, in the midst of a 20-game losing streak, the team plummeted into last place. Later in the season, Collins left the team and abandoned all the duties that he had been entrusted to complete. Collins did not play nor manage another game during the 1906 season. Collins would play 41 games for the Boston Americans before being traded to the Philadelphia Athletics. He would play one more season of professional baseball. Collins worked in various minor league player manager positions, and all the while making money off of his rental properties that he owned in the Buffalo area, before he would become president of the Buffalo Municipal Baseball Association in 1922. Collins would be re-elected to this position for 22 consecutive years. Collins had married his longtime girlfriend, Sarah Murphy, in 1907. They had 2 daughters together. However, one of his daughters would pass away in 1909. Throughout his career in life, Collins would have to deal with the racism and discrimination of being the descendants of Irish immigrants. Collins was able to skillfully navigate these issues, which were quite predominant in the Buffalo and Boston areas. Jimmy Collins would pass away on March 6, 1943, due to complications of pneumonia. 2 months before his passing, there was a campaign to have Collins elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame by the Buffalo Evening News. After a year and a half of campaigning, Collins was able to only achieve 49 of the needed 75% vote for election into the Hall of Fame. However, the Old Timers Committee unanimously agreed to enshrine Collins into the Hall of Fame. Jimmy Collins' Hall of Fame plaque reads as follows: considered by many the game's greatest third baseman, he revolutionized the style of play at that bag, led Boston Red Sox to the first World Championship in 1903, a consistent batter. His defensive play thrilled fans of both major leagues. Thank you for listening, and join us next time as we will cover the aforementioned 1903 World Series.